Greetings, Dr. Hasslein. I'm very grateful that you are just letting me answer these trivia questions that are based around your contest, even though I will get no use out of the DVDs. But I can't resist some opinionated questions towards film, towards your fans. So I want to answer these 3 questions in the minimum of 3 minutes as you had requested, so let's go. In question 1, what is your favorite film trilogy of all time? I think I have said this in my previous videos, but just in case some of your subscribers have not heard these things or have even found out who I am, it's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Not the Hobbit trilogy that's on the way, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And the reason why is just because, from a film standpoint, knowing a whole bunch of people that are actually in the film industry, understanding how a lot of things work behind the scenes, when you take a look at these movies, Peter Jackson just put so much effort and a piece of his soul into making these movies unlike anything else. They are in the science fiction and fantasy realm, but what's so interesting is you can probably put these movies alongside some of the true elitist classics like Gone with the Wind and Casablanca, Lawrence of Arabia, The Ten Commandments, The Godfather even, and even going into some of the more recent films like Dances with Wolves or Schindler's List. These 3 films are just that kind of movie. They have so much right with them. The camera angles, the cast, the cinematography, the lighting, the costumes, the scenery, everything in that movie is just perfect. And there's no other movie that I could probably, as far as a film trilogy goes, put above it. Just because those 3 films, Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King, are just what they are, and they're just that great. Now, in regards to the second question, what movie defined the 80s, I actually believe that it's 2 movies. And those 2 movies are the original Back to the Future and The Breakfast Club. Ironically, 2 films that came out in the exact same year. Now, the reason why I chose 2 movies is because the 80s were a very interesting time for filmmaking. The Back to the Future film basically captures the outlandish creativity that the 80s gave us in film. There were some stories that movies gave us that were nothing that we had ever seen in the past. Movies like Ghostbusters and Gremlins, and the list goes on. But then you also had the teen comedies. This was also the time, even though it did begin in the 70s, with movies like American Graffiti and Animal House, and even some of the trauma films of the early and mid-1970s, the 1980s, thanks to Cameron Crowe and John Hughes, they really made the teenager the staple mindset of the 1980s. That was what the decade was talking to. The merchandising and the way that culture was, it really was screaming out to the youth, because the youth had issues and they felt that nobody was listening, so movies like The Breakfast Club and others like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, they just brought the teenage mindset to the big screen, to the masses, and really gave kids all over the world characters to relate to. Now, in regards to your third question, which is my favorite horror sequel of all time, I have to give it to Saw 7, or Saw 3D, or Saw the Final Chapter, whatever you want to call it. And the reason is because I think that Saw, the original, is one of the best movies ever made in the horror genre. It just grips you, and you have to follow, and you have to think. And a lot of people say that it all stopped at 4, but after 4, it just got even bigger. The story grew, the story got more in depth, and the best part about 7 was how, and I really don't want to bring out too many spoilers, but it just showed you that if you had been there since the beginning, you are going to love the way this movie ends. And that's what I loved so much about that film. Not just because of the fact that Sean Patrick Flanery is the main character in that movie, but it just culminated everything that Saw had created and just gave us a perfect ending to the story. So that's it. I hope that this thing ran over 3 minutes, and I'm hoping that this will be something that everybody else can enjoy, and good luck to all of you who are in Dr. Haslein's contest. He's a fantastic guy. I really enjoy his work, and he's definitely given me some hints and some tips on how to become a better YouTuber, and subscribers definitely show it. So keep watching his show, and if you guys have never seen me before, I am the Lawn Gnome. My channel is SM Delta 4, and my show is Up from the Underground. I'd love to get some new subscribers and some more feedback. Take care, guys, and good luck.